Hey viewers, you're watching The Savera and I'm Vidhi Joshi. Tensions continue to rise in Gaza despite the ceasefire agreement that came into effect in early October. Palestinian officials claim that the Israel army has violated the truce 47 times, resulting in the deaths of 38 Palestinians and injuries to 143 others. Israel, on the other hand, accuses Hamas of failing to uphold its side of the agreement, particularly in recovering and returning the bodies of Israel hostages. The situation further deteriorated with reports of Israel airstrikes in Rafah and southern Gaza. According to the Israel media, including the strikes followed an incident where Hamas fighters allegedly emerged from a tunnel in Rafah and opened fire on Israel troops. No Israel casualties were reported, but the military response was swift. Israel public broadcaster confirmed ongoing air operations, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu held talks with Defense Minister Israel Katz and senior military officials, further underscoring the fragility of the ceasefire. Meanwhile, Israel has announced that the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt will remain closed until further notice. Netanyahu stated that the closure is directly linked to Hamas' failure to return the remains of Israel captives. The announcement contradicted a statement by the Palestinian embassy in Egypt, which had said the crossing would reopen Monday. The continued closure blocks the primary route for medical evacuations and humanitarian aid, heightening the crisis for Gaza's civilian population. Humanitarian conditions inside Gaza are worsening. Forensic teams are overwhelmed and working with limited resources to identify the bodies of Palestinians recently returned from Israel prisons. The Red Cross has facilitated these transfers, but Gaza's health ministry reports that only 7 bodies have been identified so far due to the severe shortage of DNA testing capabilities and basic medical equipment. Families are left in limbo, unable to confirm the fates of their loved ones. Despite some signs of recovery in Gaza's market, the economic strain remains severe. Cash shortages and high withdrawal commissions have made even basic necessities unaffordable for many. The local government has intervened, reducing cash withdrawal fees from 45% to 20%, but the cost of living remains out of reach for much of the population. Traders have welcomed the return of goods and customers, but stress that without free cash flow into Gaza, true recovery remains impossible. Violence has also flared in the occupied West Bank. In the Al Ain refugee camp near Nablus, 42-year-old Mazid Mohammed was shot and killed by Israel forces during a raid. 2 others were wounded, according to the reports from Palestinian media and medical teams on the ground. Amid these developments, the United States issued a warning, citing credible intelligence that Hamas may be planning an attack against Palestinian civilians. The US State Department described such an act as a serious breach of the ceasefire agreement and warned that it would undermine mediation efforts. Hamas has strongly denied the allegations, calling them baseless. Netanyahu has reiterated that the war in Gaza will not end until Hamas is fully disarmed and Gaza is demilitarized. His comments came shortly after Hamas armed wing, the Ezzedine al-Qassam brigades, handed over the remains of 2 more Israel hostages under a US broker deal, reflecting ongoing, albeit strained, diplomatic engagement. As the ceasefire teeters on the edge of collapse, the suffering of ordinary civilians deepens, from grieving families and overburdened medical teams to struggling traders and displaced residents. The human cost of this conflict continues to mount. International actors are calling for renewed commitment to the ceasefire and urgent humanitarian intervention, but a long-term solution still appears distant. That's all for now. Stay tuned to The Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.